Ever wake up in the morning and just feel stiff, like your joints forgot how to move while you were sleeping? Maybe your knees ache when you stand up, or your digestion feels sluggish, or you've just been feeling tired lately, even though you're not doing anything different. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And believe it or not, one simple ingredient sitting quietly in your kitchen cabinet might help. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could something as ordinary as baking soda possibly make a difference in your health after 60? Isn't that just for baking cookies or freshening the fridge? That's exactly what I used to think. But the truth is, this humble white powder has been quietly helping people for generations. And, when used the right way, it can support your body in ways that are especially important as we age. Let's talk about what really happens to our bodies over 60. Our muscles naturally get weaker, energy dips more easily, digestion slows down, and things like heartburn or joint pain can show up more often. It can be frustrating. You want to stay active and independent, but your body feels like it's putting on the brakes. Here's where baking soda comes in. Under all that simplicity, it has some powerful effects that might surprise you. It's a natural compound called sodium bicarbonate, and when it's used properly, it can help balance your internal pH, ease inflammation, support kidney health, and even improve muscle recovery. Let's start with something many of us deal with but don't talk about enough. Digestion. If you've ever felt that uncomfortable burn in your chest after a meal, or noticed bloating that just won't quit, that could be your stomach acid acting up. As we get older, our stomach acid levels can change. Sometimes there's too much, sometimes not enough, and both can mess with digestion. Baking soda is a natural antacid. Just a small amount mixed in water can help neutralize excess acid, easing that uncomfortable burning feeling. It's not about replacing medications. Always talk to your doctor. But sometimes, for mild heartburn or indigestion, this little home remedy can offer quick, gentle relief. And speaking of digestion, there's another benefit. An unbalanced gut can lead to all sorts of issues, from fatigue to brain fog to poor nutrient absorption. Baking soda helps maintain the right pH in your stomach, which supports healthy gut bacteria, the good kind that helps break down food and keeps you feeling more energized and less sluggish. But it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about something else that really matters after 60, joint pain. Whether it's knees, hips, or just an overall stiffness, it can wear you down. You might think it's just old age, but often it's tied to inflammation. Baking soda has shown promising effects in reducing low-grade inflammation in the body. In one small study, researchers found that drinking a baking soda solution daily helped calm the body's autoimmune response, which can be one of the triggers behind chronic inflammation. Imagine that, a teaspoon of baking soda in water helping to ease your stiffness and help you move more comfortably again. Now, here's something you might not expect. Baking soda can also support your muscles. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia, and that's one of the biggest reasons older adults start to feel weaker or more prone to falls. When we move, our muscles create acid as a byproduct, especially during activity or even walking around the house. If the body can't clear out that acid efficiently, muscles can tire faster and recover more slowly. Baking soda acts as a buffer, helping neutralize that acid and supporting quicker recovery. Some athletes even use it to help with endurance and fatigue. While we're not running marathons here, even a short walk around the neighborhood or a morning stretch can feel easier if your muscles aren't as taxed. Of course, we can't talk about health without talking about the kidneys. They work hard to filter waste and maintain the right balance of minerals in the body. But with age, that system can slow down. Some early studies suggest that baking soda, when used correctly, might help reduce the progression of certain kidney issues by lowering acid levels in the body. It's not a cure, and it's not for everyone. But it's worth understanding how this common household item could play a role in helping your body stay balanced. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about magic potions or miracle cures. It's about using what you already have wisely. A little baking soda in water, maybe a quarter to half a teaspoon once a day, can be an easy addition to your routine. But it's also important to listen to your body and talk with your doctor, especially if you have high blood pressure or are on a low-sodium diet. This isn't one-size-fits-all, but for many seniors, this tiny shift can be the beginning of more comfortable mornings, fewer aches, and maybe even a bit more energy to do the things you love, whether that's gardening, walking your dog, or just moving around your home with more ease. Think of it like this. You've spent decades taking care of others, working hard, building a life. Your body has carried you through so much. Now it's time to give it a little extra care, a little backup support. Sometimes, the simplest things make the biggest difference. A glass of water, a deep breath, a gentle stretch, and maybe, just maybe, a pinch of baking soda. Let's keep going with this conversation, because there's more you should know about how this simple ingredient could help you feel stronger, steadier, and more like yourself again. Now, if you're anything like most folks I talk to, you might be thinking, all right, a little baking soda in water sounds simple enough, but is it really going to make a difference for someone my age? And that's a fair question. You've probably tried all kinds of remedies over the years. Some worked, some didn't. And it's easy to feel a bit skeptical. But sometimes, the things that seem too simple are exactly what our bodies need, especially when it comes to restoring balance. Let's talk about one area that gets overlooked far too often: fatigue. Not just the kind where you didn't sleep well and feel groggy the next day, but the kind that just lingers. You wake up already tired. You start folding the laundry or making breakfast, and before you know it, your legs feel heavy, your shoulders ache, and your energy just isn't there. That kind of tired can make you feel older than you are. One reason for that could be something as basic as too much acid building up in your body. When your blood becomes too acidic, a condition called mild metabolic acidosis, it can make your muscles tire faster, slow your metabolism, and strain your kidneys. And here's the thing, this acid buildup becomes more common as we age, but studies show that baking soda can help by gently restoring your body's pH balance. That alone might help you feel more energized and less bogged down by that invisible weight of fatigue. Now, don't worry, I'm not talking about downing spoonfuls of the stuff. In fact, that could be harmful. But half a teaspoon, mixed into a full glass of water and sipped slowly, can be surprisingly effective. Just once a day, preferably on an empty stomach, or at least a couple of hours after eating. You don't need to overdo it to feel the difference. And here's something that might surprise you. Did you know baking soda can actually help support oral health too? That may not sound like a big deal at first, but think about how much our teeth and gums affect everything else. If your mouth isn't healthy, you might have trouble chewing nutritious foods like fruits, vegetables, or lean meats. And if you're not chewing properly, your digestion takes a hit. It's all connected. Baking soda is naturally antibacterial and can neutralize acids in your mouth that cause tooth decay and gum disease. Some seniors even brush their teeth gently with a bit of baking soda once or twice a week, or use a baking soda-based toothpaste to help with plaque and bad breath. It's not a replacement for seeing your dentist, of course, but it's a great way to support your mouth in between visits. And a healthy mouth makes it easier to eat the foods that keep the rest of you strong. Let's shift gears now and talk about something a little more personal: urinary tract health. As we get older, especially for women, urinary tract infections can become more frequent. Sometimes they're mild and annoying, and other times they can become serious. One of the keys to prevention is keeping the urinary tract environment less acidic, because bacteria tend to thrive in more acidic conditions. Drinking baking soda water every now and then may help neutralize that acidity, making it a little harder for bad bacteria to grow. Again, this isn't a replacement for antibiotics or medical care, but for prevention or mild discomfort, it might offer a bit of gentle support. And here's a simple but powerful shift you can try. especially if you deal with nighttime leg cramps. You know the kind, those sudden, sharp cramps in your calves or feet that wake you up in the middle of the night. They can be caused by a number of things, including dehydration or imbalanced minerals. But often, muscle cramping is linked to too much acid buildup in the body. Baking soda helps neutralize those acids, and that may help reduce the frequency of those painful nighttime surprises. If you've been waking up rubbing your legs or trying to walk it off in the dark, this small daily habit might help. Of course, we should talk about the heart too, because after all, it's working 24/7 to keep us going. Now, here's where things get a bit more nuanced. Baking soda does contain sodium, and for folks with high blood pressure or heart conditions, that matters. So if you've been told to limit your sodium, it's really important to talk to your doctor before adding baking soda to your daily routine. But here's what's interesting. For many people, the amount used in these gentle home remedies is quite small, less sodium than a slice of bread or a serving of canned soup. So with guidance, it may still be safe and helpful. Some research even suggests that balancing your internal pH can reduce stress on the cardiovascular system by improving circulation and oxygen delivery. That's especially helpful for those who feel cold hands and feet or low stamina during activity. And while we're on the topic of circulation, let's touch on something that most people don't realize. Baking soda may help oxygen flow better through your body. That means more energy, better clarity, and even improved stamina during walking or light exercise. You might not be lifting weights or jogging anymore, but maybe you want to walk the dog, tend to your garden, or play with your grandkids without feeling winded. When your blood is better oxygenated, your body simply works better. Now, none of this is about turning back the clock. We all know aging comes with changes. But here's what I want you to hear. There are always things you can do to support your health, to feel stronger, and to live with more ease. And sometimes, those things are as close as your kitchen shelf. Baking soda isn't flashy. It doesn't come in a shiny bottle with a fancy label. But in the right amount at the right time, it can be one of those quiet little allies that helps you feel just a bit more like yourself again. Less bloated, less achy, more mobile, more comfortable in your own skin. And that's what this is all about. You deserve to feel good in your body, not just get by. Whether that means more energy to cook your favorite meal, fewer restless nights, or just a little extra spring in your step, those small wins matter. Let's keep this conversation going, because there's still more to share about how this simple tool can support you on the road to better health after 60. You know, one of the things I hear most from people over 60 is this: I just want to feel like myself again. Not even younger, just like themselves. Not worrying about every step, not feeling exhausted halfway through the day, not dealing with discomfort that makes everyday things harder than they should be. And it's completely understandable. Aging doesn't mean you lose your spark, your independence, or your joy. But sometimes, the body needs a little extra help to keep up. And that's where something as humble as baking soda might surprise you. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine getting up in the morning and walking to the kitchen without that deep ache in your hips or knees. Picture yourself enjoying your breakfast without that heavy, bloated feeling you've just gotten used to. Or walking through your garden without needing to stop and rest after 5 minutes. That's the kind of change we're talking about. Not magic, just possible. Earlier we talked about how baking soda helps balance acidity in the body. Well, another important place that affects is your immune system. As we get older, our immune defenses naturally slow down. It's why it takes longer to bounce back from a cold, or why minor infections can hit harder than they used to. But when your body is overly acidic, inflammation tends to increase. And inflammation, especially the chronic, silent kind, makes your immune system work overtime. It's like running a marathon every day without rest. Baking soda can help shift your body back into a more balanced state. In fact, researchers at the Medical College of Georgia discovered that a small daily dose of baking soda seemed to train the immune system to behave more calmly, reducing unnecessary inflammation. It's almost like telling your body, hey, you don't need to fight so hard all the time. And when your immune system isn't constantly in battle mode, you have more resources for healing, energy, and protection. Let's talk for a moment about confidence, not the kind where you stand up and give a speech, but the kind that makes you feel steady on your feet. That makes you feel comfortable going to the store alone or climbing a few stairs without fear of falling. One of the most powerful changes seniors report after using baking soda regularly is a sense of better control, less dizziness, fewer wobbly moments, and a more awake feeling in the muscles. That's likely because balanced pH improves nerve function and circulation. When your body's inner environment is more stable, the messages from your brain to your muscles travel more smoothly. It's hard to feel independent when you're constantly worried your body might let you down. But even small shifts, like less cramping, fewer digestion issues, and steadier energy, can make a world of difference. Suddenly you're doing things again that you stopped doing, not because you didn't want to, but because they just felt like too much. And here's something else worth mentioning. Brain fog. You know that feeling, when your thoughts feel fuzzy, your memory's a bit off, or you just can't focus like you used to. That mental sluggishness is incredibly frustrating. And while there are many causes, like poor sleep, diet, or stress, one overlooked factor is how acidic your system is. When your blood is too acidic, it affects the oxygen levels in your brain, and your brain is hungry for oxygen. By helping your blood stay slightly more alkaline, baking soda may improve how well oxygen is carried to your brain, leaving you feeling a little more alert, a little sharper, a little more with it. That can lead to better conversations, more enjoyment in reading, remembering people's names more easily, little moments that add up to a better quality of life. You might also be surprised to know that baking soda has shown promise in supporting healthy uric acid levels too. Why does that matter? Because when uric acid builds up in the body, it can lead to gout, a painful type of arthritis that often hits the toes, ankles, or knees. If you've ever had a flare-up, you know how awful it can be. Some people who are prone to gout find that baking soda helps reduce the acidity that allows uric acid crystals to form. Again, this isn't a cure, but it might offer relief or reduce how often flare-ups happen. I also want to bring up something practical: cost. Health products these days can be expensive. Vitamins, supplements, special shakes. It adds up quickly, but baking soda, it costs pennies. And when used correctly, it can offer support that rivals much pricier options. It's a gentle way to show your body a little care without breaking the bank. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this again. Baking soda is powerful, and moderation is key. This isn't about gulping down large amounts. It's about using small, measured portions, usually no more than half a teaspoon per day in a full glass of water. And it's always wise to talk to your doctor before adding anything new to your daily routine, especially if you have high blood pressure or kidney issues. But for many older adults, when used thoughtfully, this one shift can create a ripple effect of improvement. And maybe the most beautiful thing? It's something you're doing for yourself. This is your time to care for your body with the same patience and love you've shown others for decades. You've earned that. You deserve to feel strong, steady, and vibrant in the years ahead. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up and shuffle into the kitchen, take a moment, take a breath, maybe fill a glass of water, maybe stir in that small teaspoon of support. It's a small act, but one that says, I'm still taking care of me. Let's keep this going, because there are still more ways baking soda and small choices like it can support you in feeling better, stronger, and more in control of your health. You've come this far with me, and that says something important. It says you care about your health. You care about staying strong, keeping your independence, and feeling good in your body, no matter what age the calendar says you are. And honestly, that kind of determination is more powerful than any pill or powder. Now, let's finish this conversation with a few more ways this humble little box of baking soda might just help you live with more comfort, energy, and ease. Starting today. Let's begin with digestion. I don't know about you, but for a lot of people over 60, eating a meal doesn't always feel like it used to. Maybe you feel uncomfortably full after just a few bites. Maybe you get gassy or bloated, especially in the evenings. Or maybe it's that slow, sluggish digestion where everything just sits in your stomach for hours. That heaviness can really drain your energy and your appetite. Baking soda, when taken with water before meals, just a small dose, about half a teaspoon, can help neutralize excess stomach acid. That may sound odd because a lot of people think bloating comes from too little acid. And sometimes that's true. But often what we're dealing with is acid that's rising too high or becoming too concentrated in the stomach. Baking soda doesn't stop digestion. It just helps create the right environment for your stomach to do its job without discomfort. And here's another little gift it offers. Baking soda supports the liver. Now, most people don't think much about their liver until something goes wrong. But your liver is like the body's chemical plant. It filters toxins, supports hormone balance, helps with blood sugar control, and yes, even impacts how much energy you feel. When your liver is overworked, everything feels harder. You tire more easily. You may gain weight without eating more. You might even feel foggy-headed. Some studies suggest that baking soda may assist the liver by helping it process waste more efficiently, especially when it comes to neutralizing metabolic acids. That means less strain and potentially better energy and digestion as a result. Again, it's not a replacement for healthy food or medication, but it's a gentle nudge of support your liver might thank you for. And speaking of balance, we can't forget about the bones. A lot of people don't realize that acidity in the body can actually leach calcium from your bones. Why? Because calcium is alkaline, and your body will pull it from bones to neutralize high acid levels. Over time, this can quietly weaken your bones, even if you're taking calcium supplements or eating well. That's one of the reasons experts are looking at the role of pH balance in preventing bone loss and osteoporosis. By helping reduce overall acidity, baking soda may help the body keep more of that hard-earned calcium in your bones where it belongs. And that means better posture, less risk of fractures, and more confidence when walking, climbing stairs, or even just standing up from a chair. Now, I want to touch on something a bit emotional. The idea of aging with dignity. We live in a world that doesn't always honor the wisdom and experience that come with age. You see ads for youth creams and energy boosters, and it can feel like everything is about turning back time. But I believe real strength comes from working with your body, not against it. From doing the small things each day that help you feel just a little more vibrant, a little more confident, and a little more you. A half teaspoon of baking soda in water might not seem like much, but when it helps reduce joint discomfort, calm your stomach, lift your energy, or improve your sleep, it can ripple out into every part of your day. Maybe it helps you feel steady enough to go to church again without worrying about your knees. Maybe you get through the afternoon without reaching for that extra cup of coffee. Maybe you laugh a little more because you're not so preoccupied with discomfort. And when those small improvements start stacking up, you remember, hey, I am still in charge of how I age. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk safety one more time. If you have kidney disease, uncontrolled high blood pressure, or you're on a sodium-restricted diet, it's important to check with your doctor before trying daily baking soda. Used improperly or in large amounts, it can cause harm. But when used gently, in the right way, and with the proper care, it can be a simple, natural ally in your wellness routine. A few final reminders. Always mix it well in at least 8 ounces of water. Sip it slowly, not all at once. Don't take it close to meals unless you're specifically trying to calm stomach acid. And don't make it a constant habit without breaks. Your body needs variety. Even just a few days a week can help you feel the difference. Most importantly, listen to you. Your body is wise. It tells you when something's working. And you deserve to feel better, not by doing something extreme or expensive, but by choosing simple, steady steps that support your health each day. So here's to your strength. Here's to mornings where your joints don't ache, to meals that sit well, to afternoons full of energy, and evenings where you can rest deeply and wake up ready to go again. Here's to feeling comfortable in your body, steady on your feet, and proud of the care you're giving yourself. And if this video helped, feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with someone you care about. We're all in this together, and every bit of encouragement makes a difference. If you have questions or want to share your own experience with baking soda or other natural remedies, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Until next time, take care of yourself. Drink your water, move your body, nourish your soul. Here's to strong legs, better mornings, and living your best life after 60. We'll see you soon.